Okay. Hey, Taj. Thank you so much for being a part of this Credible Messenger behind the scenes interview. I'm really excited. My name is Maxayn Gooden, and I am the Community Engagement Manager for the Credible Messenger Project. Last year, I was a part of the Credible Messenger Project. I did a project called Lasting Impact. So now we're going to interview Taj and learn a little bit about him. So, Taj, what was the name and the title of your project, and who was on your team?
So the name of our project was The Lasting Impact, and this project was it got everybody involved to bring more awareness to gun violence in the city and things like that. And who was involved? It was our director, Maxayn Gooden, and then also our journalist, Chris, whose last name I cannot remember at the moment. I apologize. Um, yeah.
That's fine. And could you tell us a little bit about what was the project about? Like, what did you report on? Things like that.
Yeah, so in our project, the overall mission was to bring more awareness and tell stories of people who have been impacted in gun violence in some kind of way. So with our project, we interviewed three people who have been impacted, and that's either losing somebody that they love dearly, or know somebody who has been shot, but or has been impacted but didn't lose their life. But it all kind of brings a full circle around to gun violence in Philadelphia. So it focused on that, and through that we told some powerful stories.
Thank you for that. And how did you find out about the Credible Messenger Project, and what made you want to get involved with it?
So I found out about the Credible Messenger actually through a mutual filmmaker by the name of Keenan Marshall, and he usually sends me a lot of things that he for some reason isn't able to take on, and he gave it to me, and he recommended me. And after talking to Maxayn and learning more about the project and what had to be involved, it was one of those stories that I want to tell, and that's stories of some victims after it's reported on the news. These are the lasting impacts we want to hear about. That still goes on even when the cameras are off. So it was just a very important topic for me, and I really wanted to be a part of it.
So, how did you find out about the Credible Messenger Project, and what made you want to get involved?
So this project was referred to me by my friend and another filmmaker by the name of Keenan Marshall. And once he kind of passed this project to me, I got in contact with Maxayn and Chris, and we had a call, and they explained the story for what it was and the importance of telling these stories. And that's the lasting impacts of gun violence in the city. And for me, that was a topic that hit home for me in many ways. And I also wanted to tell this story because in some ways, these are also stories of the unheard. When we usually hear about gun violence on the news, we hear about it in that instance, but that's it. We forget about it, and that's it. But these are the lasting impacts, things that still affect these family members and friends due to gun violence in the city.
Yeah, that was good. That was good, and it's true. It's stories that need to be heard because, people still carry those emotions years later. So, yeah. Do you feel that it's better? Do you feel that community people or credible messengers such as yourself or journalists should do more reporting of these type of stories?
I think so because, like I said before, even when the cameras are off, families are still mourning. They're still grieving for this lost friend or family member, and that I think these stories should be reported because these stories also might help somebody else who's going through these kind of things, and in a way give some helping hands to people who are still grieving and things like that. So I think it's very important to keep telling these stories for journalists and reporters and things like that. And it's also, together we could form community and find ways to make an attempt to end gun violence in the city.
Do you feel that as you were showing your documentary to people, whether it was via social media or in person, um, what was the impact that you felt it had on the viewers or the people that attended the film?
Um, yeah, we showed the film in front of a few different audiences now, and we I think the first thing I noticed is how it connects with people emotionally, and that could be because they can relate to this. They've experienced this in their life at some point and made that connection, or simply off the fact that people care. People, even if they don't have a direct connection, people care about what's going on and they want to help in some ways. And we also showed this film to the youth, and I could tell it made people think, think twice about the people they might hang out with, or things like that. But then it also raises questions too, because they want to know what they can do to change, or like what they can do to help in these situations. So it's definitely bringing a lot of conversations around the topic, and at the end of the day I think that's what we want, because it challenges us and it brings us together to try to find a way to improve this issue in our community.
I like that because it brings emotion to it and not just numbness to it, because violence is happening so often that you can become numb. But when you really, and that's just by being reported by news media, but when you see a film about the behind the scenes of things, it does definitely give you a whole different perception and things of what's really happening and how it feels, right? Did you learn anything while you were being a part of this Credible Messenger project?
I think in this project I learned how powerful filmmaking can be, and how powerful storytelling can be, and how you can make a direct connection with somebody from documenting things, and by storytelling it was in that sense it was an amazing and very eye-opening experience for me, and it's something that I've known before, but I think this is the closest I've been to also see reactions from viewing this film. So I think that was the thing that I learned and touched on the most.
Thanks for sharing that. Um, can you offer any takeaways on how to improve the Credible Messenger project? If there's anything that needs to be improved, you feel?
Yeah, I feel like honestly, I think things have been straightforward with the Credible Messenger on my end. Other people, might have any other solutions or opinions or anything. But I think on my end, everything's pretty straightforward. And getting to know, I think all the resources are there that we need to get things rolling with the program and starting new projects and meeting your, your group and things like that. Yeah.
Is there any advice or lessons that you want to leave, that you might want to give to the new Credible Messengers that are coming on board for the project?
Yeah, I would say for new credible messengers, I would say everything starts with communication. And also, this is a time and space to be vulnerable and to communicate with your group. And I think that will make the process easier for everybody, and have everybody on the same page and get a sense to know who the people are that you're working with. And I think that will make the project run smoothly. And yeah, I think, just staying open minded, don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Yeah.
That's some great advice. And I say that because, everyone we know that has gotten involved with this project, they have experienced some type of violence in their life. And that's why they are with this project, right? So it is a space where you can share your stories and be vulnerable to make your project even better, and know that everyone that's involved is all together on the same page, right? So I definitely understand that. That was great advice, great advice.
Thank you, definitely.
So that wraps up our behind the scenes Credible Messenger interview. Taj, thank you so much for being a great person to interview. And I know
Thank
that
you.
you are also involved with you're involved with the Credible Messenger project again on a new project. So we really
Mhm.
look forward to seeing that. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate everything.
Thank you, Taj.